Well, good afternoon. I think I can say that in 3 minutes. Thanks very much for sitting in on this introduction, not only to Japan, but to Japan Gold. My first comments are going to be about Japan in general, and so we'll move past our forward-looking statements. Japan, from my perspective, is one of the very best destinations on the planet to make a new gold discovery. Why? It's got a wonderful, stable government, so geopolitical risk is very, very low. It's got a rich history in high-grade gold mining, including 5 million plus ounce producers. The mining law, very importantly, was revised in 2012 for the first time ever to allow foreign companies to come into Japan and to be active in that space and rejuvenate that space. There's a very well-established regulatory framework, and there's very easy access to government officials. There's an extensive and very relevant database, and that we've been able to access for the complete country. And finally, there's underexplored terrain with very, very limited competition. The background is that in 1943, there were 76 active gold mines in Japan. They were closed by the government, and after the war, only 12 of those mines reopened. So today, there are 64 closed gold mines remaining in Japan. The basis for that was that the Japanese companies went abroad and brought natural resources back to Japan as opposed to focusing domestically. Japan Gold. We have the first mover advantage in Japan. We were the first company in the world to go into Japan after the change in the 2012 mining law. We have 12 gold projects that cover over 42 historic mines out of the 64 closed gold mines now. We also have 5 lithocap projects which are evidence of potential porphyry mineralization. We have drilling commencing shortly in June this month, and we're very excited to be undertaking this stage in our development. We have Newmont Goldcorp as a 19.9% strategic investor and 2 large institutional investors managed by RCF and managed by BlackRock. Here's Japan. I'm going to quickly take you through a tour of Japan and the opportunities here. There are 3 main islands of Japan: Hokkaido in the north, Honshu, the long, thin island in the center, with Tokyo in the center, and Kyushu in the south. The areas that are highlighted here are the areas that had high-grade gold mining in the past and where the 76 mines were located. Not including Hikari at the top, but moving down from there, those are the 12 mines that reopened, and the quick takeaway there is that they produced a lot of gold at high grades throughout Japan, and they were all closed by the mid-1970s. The Hikari Mine was a new discovery that was made by the only group that was still looking around Japan, the Geological Survey of Japan, in 1981. And there, on some Sumitomo metal mining ground under 4 very shallow old gold mines, they managed to drill a blind hole down to 200 meters and intersect the Hikari Mine. The endowment is incredible. It's 8.4 million ounces at 47.3 grams per ton, and it's been operating since 1985 and still operates today. Here's a quick photo of a couple of veins at the Hikari Mine. The lower photo, you'll notice the small person standing there beside a wide vein. They've mined 7.6 million ounces here to date, and there's significant reserves remaining. Now to move to Japan Gold's exploration portfolio, we have 12 gold projects that are highlighted in yellow on this slide and 5 lithocap projects. And we'll go to the southern island of Kyushu first to show you what we've got there and what we're embarking on now. Here's Kyushu. The 2 light green areas are the 2 gold provinces that are in Kyushu. The southern gold province is the area that holds the Hikari gold mine and a number of other very significant past producers, and our 2 gold projects are located there. The Kyushu portfolio, the highlight there is the Cattano Mine project, which is at the south end of the gold province. And this is the project that we're advancing on now very quickly. Similarly to the Hikari model, we identified 3 very shallow historic gold mines that are located in that central area that span about 3.5 kilometers. Beneath that, or beyond that, we identified 2 additional gold mines that allowed us to expand the area to over 7 kilometers and cover the whole trend. I'll just focus you in on that central area: the Arushi Mine, the Takamine Mine, and the Ora Mine. So here we are looking at a cross-section, and basically in the light pink areas are highlighting the historic mining that has occurred in the past. We've done significant work through this area, and we've identified through our views that the gold deposit should be somewhat deeper than those. And so we have a number of holes that are going underneath these old mines to target the areas and the zones that we feel should be most appropriately drilled. And this is happening in June. Now we're moving 1,600 miles north to the island of Hokkaido. The light green area that looks like a U shape is the gold province that is prolific in that area. There was a past producer of over 2.3 million ounces in the area, and one of our projects is contiguous with that property. The area that I'm going to focus you in on is the Akutahara project, which is on the right-hand side, and it's sort of an upside-down L shape. This is the Akutahara project. It has about just under 200 square kilometers and covers over 17 historic mines. Most of them are high-grade underground gold mines, and one of them is a significant surface working. We've done substantial work across this property and have identified a number of key things. First of all, focusing on the highlighted area in the red oval, which we're calling the Cattano Gold District. This district is named after the Cattano Mine, which is in the center, but it incorporates 6 historic mines that run about 6.5 kilometers from the south end and sort of wrap up around a buff-colored feature there called the Moriyama Dome. And we've identified that these mines are all part of one large system. And so ourselves, along with our investor, Newmont Gold Corp, have determined that this is one of the key areas for us to drill this year. So the Cattano Gold Mine is a surface mine. It's at the top of a very, very large hill. 100,000 ounces were historically mined from this area when a thick layer of clay underneath the sinter blanket that covered the top of the hill was found to contain about 6 grams of gold per ton. And so a very large mill was built there back in the 1920s and 1930s, 500 ton a day, and by the 1940s they were expanding it to over 2,000 tons a day when the government came through, closed all the mines down, and the mine was closed and never reopened again and abandoned. Here are just some attractive rocks that we've taken from some of the mine dumps. They're just good examples of high-grade epithermal rocks, but interesting to look at. But I'll move on to this slide, which I think is interesting. This is a slide that was made by Dick Silito, or Dr. Richard Silito, in 1992, and this is the classic epithermal model. He designed this model actually across the Cattano Gold District, so it's interesting that the model that's used around the world was designed across our project area. Here I am standing on the top of the Cattano Mine. This is one of the sinter outcrops that exists there, and basically we're going into an aggressive phase 1 drilling program of about 3,000 meters to test beneath the sinter into the hill to identify the feeder zones that brought the gold to the surface. At the top, we have a plan view, but I'll draw your attention to the bottom, which is the cross-section. In the cross-section, basically, you'll see that we are drilling a series of scissored holes across or along approximately 1.2 kilometers to try and target 200 to 250 meter depth window to identify the core of those feeder zones. And that will be starting in July. We have a very strong leadership team. One of our leaders is Mitsuhiko Yamada, who is formerly the chief executive of Sumitomo Corporation, their global minerals division. And so we're very pleased to have him as our representing director and leader in Japan. On our management team, Takashi Kuriyama was formerly the head of global exploration for Sumitomo Metal Mining and was previously the general manager and chief geologist at the Hikari Mine. So an expert in Kyushu. Doug Kerwin and Steve Garwin also join our team of leadership. Basically, Japan Gold, to recap, we're a very strong first mover in the country, 12 gold projects that we're advancing on quickly now and drilling about to start. We have a very strong team that's been active in Japan and a very well-established set of bases in Japan, fully equipped with drillers and drills to do the job. Finally, our shareholder base, 32% is held by management, 19.9% is held by Newmont Gold Corp, 9% by RCF, 9% by 2 large Japanese funds that are managed by BlackRock, and a small public float of 30%. Our market cap is approximately $30 million. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, John.